maybe long time no see.
We're back. We're back. What is up?
Oh man,
It's
life.
been what, 3 months?
I don't even. That's bad.
We don't know where we are. So kind of quick life update. We got married again. We were
already so
married
much.
before.
I put a ring on it twice.
So that's kind of been why we were MIA, and then life happens, and now we're back.
Yeah.
I'm kind of nervous about this video, but it is Mental Health Awareness Month, so we kind of went back and forth of what we wanted to film, and this was something that I've always wanted to talk about.
Yeah. And we figured, you know, since we've been missing in action, we've had so much going on in our lives lately that we would just start here, just to give you maybe a backstory of our mental health and how we are now. And maybe that'll inspire some of you guys to talk about how you're actually doing.
Yeah, definitely. If we can touch one person or let one person know that you're not alone in your journey, then this video is worth filming.
Yeah, 100%.
So we're going to do a 3-part series because, you know, mental health is huge. There's so many things that we could talk about. So this one will just be kind of a general chit chat. Next one we'll talk about purpose and career. And then the one after that is self-love, body image, and insecurities.
All good, fun, sometimes not so fun.
Yeah.
Topics. Yeah,
definitely.
It's going to be great.
Definitely. So starting off, I kind of wanted to touch on the stigma of talking about mental health. So I'm going to let you kick that off.
I mean, it's massive. I mean, people think if you say you have mental health issues, they think you're a psychotic person, or that you have personality disorders, or whatever they think, whatever the stigma is. And I can even expound on that to say the stigma is even bigger in the Black community or in communities of color, where we're told to not go see someone because you don't know that person, or they don't know you, or, you know, you going to see a therapist, what's wrong with you, or something like that. There's always a negative connotation when you're talking about going to therapy or mental health issues. There's always something negative. So I think there's a massive stigma, really in all communities, but specifically in communities of color, where we diagnose ourselves before we allow a professional to do so, and that's not always the most healthy thing to do. Yeah,
and I think to just bounce off of that, I was watching a video of Dr. Ramani, who has been on the Red Table Talk. If you haven't watched the Red Table Talk, please, please, please watch it. She's a psychotherapist that specializes in mental health, specific like anxiety, depression, and narcissism. She has some great videos, but she mentioned in a video that I was watching last week that mental health and specifically anxiety has such negative branding.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that like struck a chord with me because I was like, it couldn't be more true.
Because people hear anxiety and they think, you just get anxious, get over it. And I can be sitting here and say, I thought that because I haven't suffered from anxiety. Not in a clinical sense. You know, I get maybe anxious here and there about certain things or job interviews, you know, what I would say typical things people get anxious about. However, I myself can sit here and say that I bought into that stigma, that anxiety wasn't a real thing until I married someone with anxiety. And you understand it at a different level than you would if you've never experienced it in your life.
Definitely. And I think it's been a learning curve so that we can kind of touch.
It's a wave.
Yeah, it's definitely a wave in it, but it's also a wave for the person that is having anxiety.
Yeah.
To be with someone that doesn't understand that anxiety can be very, very difficult.
I think it sometimes made you feel alone.
Yeah.
When, from my perspective, it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. I don't know the right thing or the wrong thing to say. And so sometimes, you know, I wouldn't say anything at all. Yeah. And I would say that's not the way to do it.
Definitely. And we've started recently, okay, do you need comfort or do you need solutions?
Yes. Because Nikia is a very solution-based person. Yeah. If you give me a problem, I'm going to fix it. I don't know how, but I will fix it. And so my immediate reflex is to go into fix-it mode. It's like I'm a task-oriented person. I want to complete things. And so if you're presenting a problem, I want to offer a solution. But that's not always what the other person needs.
Yeah. I will say, in saying that, she does a great job of supporting me and really being my rock in those moments where I feel like I can't support myself. I've been in other relationships where that stigma was just huge. People may be able to relate to this. If you've been called crazy or you're told that you're not, what's wrong with you, or you're not worthy of love. I just want people with anxiety that are watching this video to know that you are worthy.
Yeah.
This anxiety doesn't define you. It might be a part of who you are, but it doesn't define your worthiness for love.
And I also want to say that people that are in relationships with people with anxiety, it's okay that you don't understand.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to support and be there for them and be a shoulder or be a motivator, but you don't have to understand because you're not dealing with what they're dealing with. But you do need to be there, if nothing else, as a friend.
And I think realizing that, for me, the realization that I have is that mental health is a journey, not an end point.
Right.
I think many people might be like, okay, this is what's wrong with me. How can I have a fix for that and it never affect me again? Yeah. I think that's a great way to look at it. Your bad days are going to look different than other people. Your good days are going to look different than other people. And we're not doctors, so we're just speaking from our own experience. Right. We're definitely not professionals in this.
I think that's an important point for both people.
Yeah.
On both sides of it. Don't think just because she's saying, she wants to get help or she wants to do to fix what's wrong, that it's going to stop her having anxiety or whatever other mental health issues they may have. That doesn't stop anything. That just gets them, what I say, dulls it. It'll dull the pain or it'll dull the anxiety. It doesn't completely remove it because there'll be situations or scenarios where they will become incredibly anxious or incredibly depressed or whatever their mental health struggle is. Yeah. So it's up to you to be there for them through that. It is as you said, it is a marathon. Yeah. Not a sprint.
In all transparency and honesty, we were supposed to film this video yesterday. Yeah. But I just wasn't in the mental headspace to do so. And I think being able to recognize with your partner what those cues look like. I mean, for me, it can look different depending what I'm going through. Yeah. Some days I need to go rest. I need to go be in the bed, and that's what I need to do on that day. Other days you may not be able to notice my anxiety as much because I'm doing things to, control or handle my emotions, whether that be I've picked yoga back up again, whether that's, writing in my journal and reconnecting with the small things that I'm grateful for. Yeah. So it really does look different for everyone. So I kind of touched on a few things that helped me. Sometimes nothing can help you. Yeah. And I think yesterday was the perfect example of that.
I think I helped yesterday. Yeah. At the end of
I was gonna give you some credit. Again, going back to that point of, hey, I don't really understand what you're going through, but I support you. Yeah. Nikia went out and she came home. She had bought me a coffee cup. I think it said "Be Beautiful" on it. Yeah. And then she bought me some dark chocolate pretzels. Just to let that person know, hey, I see you and what you're going through, and this is my little thing that I'm doing to make you feel better.
Yeah. And my love language is gifts. So yes. I'm gonna typically, express love. Most people typically express love in their love language, and Kerry's isn't gifts, but hers is words of affirmation and quality time. So I wanted her to know that she's beautiful, and you being who you are is beautiful. Yeah. Not necessarily how you look, but the person that you are is beautiful. Yes. Anxiety and all, depression and all, whatever that is, you're still fucking beautiful. And I want her to know that. It's to show that I care and I'm listening, and I may not understand all the time, but I am listening and I'm trying to validate your emotions and give you what I can give you based on the situation. I can't fix anything, but I can make you smile and I can make you laugh. And if that 10 seconds is removing you from that depression, then that's 10 seconds of joy for that day. And it's better than some people get.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, with social media, people are starting to talk about this more. There is no poster child for anxiety and depression. That shit doesn't discriminate. A favorite quote of mine is that, and I think I tell you this all the time, that everyone is fighting a battle that we know nothing about. Yeah. So be kind always. Yeah. And I know you and I both try and implement that in our everyday lives.
I mean, I go so far as I'll speak to every single person that walks my path.
Yeah.
I'll speak and I'll smile. Because you don't know.
I'm not on that level because my social anxiety sometimes gets the best of me, but she will really take the time to be kind.
Because I just think, not only do you not know people are going through, but you don't know the last person they spoke to that smiled at them.
Yeah.
And so I try to be that last person. Like, I don't know what you've been through. I don't know what happened to you when you woke up this morning, but let's say, for example, at Kroger, you had a frown on your face. I'm going to make a joke. I'm not going to ask you to smile because that's a microaggression.
Yeah.
But I'll make a joke, or I'll make fun of myself, whatever it is, to try to communicate with someone to get a smile.
Yeah.
Now, does that fix everything? No. Does that eliminate the problems you have? No. But like I said a second ago, those 10 seconds of a smile can make or break someone's life. Yep. And if I can be that person, knowing or unknowingly, then that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I love that. So going now to friendships and familial units and mental health, anxiety, depression.
Yeah.
I know for me specifically, I can probably say that I have lost friends. I tend to disconnect a lot. My home is my safe space. I love the people in it. I trust the people in it. I want to be here, especially when I'm not feeling myself. So I am that type of person that will cancel plans last minute or, not show up for my friends. I do have those people that understand that about me. And as I've gotten older, I think those are the only people that I will surround myself with.
I don't know if it goes so far as to necessarily safe space for me. I just don't like to leave the house. So.
And it's not anything related to anxiety.
Nothing. I'm happy to come over here. Happy to have 100 people come over here. I'll be fine. It's just leaving the house. I don't like to do it. A lot of the stuff we watched with, what was it, Dr. I forget how to pronounce her name. Ramani, excuse me. Talks about a lot of the mental health issues that a lot of people have today are because of things that happened in their childhood. Whether you had a perfect childhood or a terrible childhood, everyone has dealt with childhood trauma. That still has an effect on you as an adult because we're still triggered by certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why people recommend going to therapy so much. Yes. I'm honestly guilty. I have been to therapy in the past. I'm not currently. It's something that I want to do. It's just I have a problem taking time to do things for myself.
I think what's also important that we heard in Red Table Talk as well was that finding a therapist is not like you go to one therapist, that's your therapist.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, but I don't have a rapport with her. I can't connect with this person. That doesn't mean they have to stay your therapist. You can try out therapists like you try out dates. Like, I don't like him. I don't like none of that.
They should have Tinder for therapists.
That
would be great.
Hey,
I'm going to write that down.
This one's terrible. This one's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that would be huge for me. I'm a very big energy person. Yeah. If I'm not connecting with you, I'm not going to share my deepest, darkest insecurity with you because I don't trust you.
I mean, who would?
Yeah.
Who would?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, last thing, COVID. Do you think that has caused increased anxiety and especially social anxiety, with people wanting to leave the house? We went somewhere last weekend for the first time, and we didn't leave the house for a year and a bit. So, I can say, speaking for myself, I've always had social anxiety. I've always needed to know how many people are going to be there, who's going to be there, and what time can I leave. So I do think that COVID has had a really huge impact on the way people view the world and getting out of their safe space.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think being in the house for a year creates social anxiety. I think it kind of creates a depression because you're not in your normal environment. I think in some cases it's heightened what's already there. That you may not have known was lurking under the surface. But I also think it's helped positively in other ways. Like for me, being home and not around other people has created a better sense of self for me.
Yeah.
I want every single person around me to be happy, and then I'll focus on me.
Yeah.
If every single one in my life is happy, partly that makes me happy, and then now that I can check that box because I'm task oriented. I can check that box, and now I can focus on me. Whereas COVID eliminated all that, and I have to focus on me. And so it definitely created a moment in my life where I was able to, for a year, pretty much develop a better sense of self. So I think there's positives and negatives out of it.
Yeah.
But for me, I was able to get that positive out of it.
No, I love that, and I've definitely seen that for you.
Yeah.
I think it's been a roller coaster of, ups and downs, as most things are, especially when it's related to COVID.
And growth. I mean,
yeah,
growth is not easy. It doesn't feel good all the time. It doesn't necessarily feel good for your partner when you're growing and changing, and you're trying to figure out who that self is.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest part of growing.
Yep.
Is continuing to stay in touch with yourself and that person that's growing.
Yeah.
So I think that creates, difficult dynamics in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, we're stronger than ever.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'm not saying it's because of COVID. We probably would have been forced to grow in a different way, but having to spend that time together and navigating what comes with spending 24/7 with someone
definitely expedited the process.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But I'm really proud of your journey that you've had.
Thanks, babe.
You've kind of prioritized yourself, and you're protecting your peace, which is something we talk about all the time.
PYP.
Yeah. Protect
your peace. And that was probably the hardest thing for me, because I am such an extrovert and a people pleaser, and I want everyone to be happy. Like, ultimately, it's a good quality, yes, but not so good in some senses. So yeah, this year's been pretty good for me. Not only to discover myself and become more self-aware, but to create boundaries for myself.
Yeah. Huge progress on your end.
Thanks, baby.
Not such a great year for me personally.
Scary.
No, I'm talking about personally.
Okay.
We'll kind of touch on that in the next video that we're going to talk about in regards to how your purpose and career can impact your mental health.
Yeah.
It's definitely a journey that I am still on, that I've probably been on now for about a year and a half. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we love talking about this stuff. We're very connected in the sense that we will be vulnerable, we will be honest, truthful. We're going to tell it how it is with each other. Mm-hmm. Again, we are not professionals.
Please don't.
This is our story and our journey. The next few videos is about us and our relationship. Some of the things that we've done that help or don't help.
But at the end of it, it's always important to ask for help. Yeah. Like, if you feel like you can't take anymore, if you feel like you're going through something, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be a therapist. Now, I think everyone should go to therapy. And I honestly believe every Black American should be in therapy. That's how I honestly feel. Based on what's going on in the world, what we've dealt with our entire lives. I think that's still a trigger. I think that trauma has gone through generations. And I think every Black person should be in therapy. But if you can afford it, if it's not available to you, just ask for help. Mm-hmm. There are online resources. There are YouTube videos. There are friends. There are people. There is someone that can help you. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
You're never alone. And trust me, that's hard to feel sometimes as someone that's going through that. So we're back. Our camera died. We had to do a quick charge. But we were wrapping up the video. Yeah. And now the dogs want to come inside. So be right back.
You know what also helps with mental health? These things. They just make everything better. Easy, sweet girl. Easy, sweet.
All right, guys. So that completes this video. Let us know in the comments if you have questions about this video. Also, if there's anything that you want us to cover in the next couple of weeks, definitely let us know there. For me personally, I'm sending love to... Can you sit? Can we sit down? Sit.
There we go.
Okay. So for me personally, I'm sending love and positivity to everyone that is struggling with mental health. Yeah. And to those that aren't,
For those that aren't, just continue to try to be there for those that you love. As hard as it may be, as uphill as it may seem, it's always worth it. So you're worth it.
You are worth it. And if you want to have a conversation with us on social media about anything, we're always here. Send us a message and we will see you next week.
See you next week. Peace.